Today we're talking about an Avengers Doomsday theory that confirms the backstory behind Victor Von Doom.
Oh, let's hear it.
So do you know the crazy Avengers Doomsday theory that confirms Tony Stark was adopted in the MCU?
How can you confirm that?
Okay, so we already know there's a comic called The Secret Origin of Tony Stark. And in this comic, it literally proves that the Starks adopted Tony. And at some point in time, Tony actually belonged to a different family. But there's also a scene in Avengers Endgame that proves that Tony Stark was adopted in the MCU. So we all remember the scene where Cap and Tony both go back in time together. But the specific date that they go to is April 7th, 1970. And we all remember in this scene, Tony meets his dad and he's talking to his dad. But his dad also tells Tony that his mom is pregnant. And after he tells him this, Tony looks super shocked and confused. But then he asks him, how far along is she? But this question actually proves that Tony was adopted because Tony's birthday is May 29th, 1970. And remember, they went back in time to April 7th, 1970, literally a month before Tony's born. So shouldn't he know how far along his mom is, unless Tony knows he's adopted, but he didn't know that his parents actually tried having an actual kid of their own?
Robert Downey Jr. is a good actor and he definitely knows what he's doing. So when he acts surprised, there's a reason why he's surprised like that.
Right. And when you look at the dates that they go to, why would you ask your dad, how far along is she? You know, if it's a month before your birthday, she's 8 months.
And Tony Stark's like the smartest man in the 616 universe.
Right.
So I think he would figure it out.
Exactly. So it only makes sense that he knows he was adopted, but he didn't have the knowledge that his parents actually tried to have a kid of their own.
I mean, look, I definitely think that the plan to have Robert Downey Jr. come back and be Dr. Doom, who knows how long that's been in the works for.
Right.
It could have been back at Endgame.
Yeah. And you got to think too. The Russo brothers already said that this movie is going to challenge audiences. Now, how else do you challenge audiences? You have to make them figure something out.
Right. Or go against what people expect.
Right. And that is something people are not expecting.
People will not expect Tony Stark revealing that this whole time he was Victor Von Doom.
Right. Especially because the reason is that he's adopted.
And the reason why I feel like they could possibly do this, right, is because it kind of comes down to the idea that just because Tony Stark appeared to be Victor Von Doom in the 616 universe, he decided to do the right thing and try to make change, right?
Yeah.
So it's like whatever your motives are and who you are, you're not destined because of your name to be a certain way.
Right.
Just because Tony may have been born Victor Von Doom, but was adopted by the Starks to be Tony Stark, it doesn't mean that he had to become bad.
Exactly. Now think about this too. There's like this whole theory about if he was Victor Von Doom this entire time, the only way he became Tony Stark was yes to be adopted by the Starks, but to be surrounded by the Avengers. Because think about this. Tony throughout the entire MCU is usually the one messing up. He's usually the one like going against the grain. He's creating Ultron, right? Trying to put the suit of armor around the world. He's trying to sign the Sokovia Accords and basically like lose control of all the Avengers. Right? He's kind of the one that's usually causing the problems.
Well, not only is he trying to lose control of the Avengers, right? He's trying to control the Avengers, really. Right? He's trying to contain them.
Right.
Which is kind of like an evil villain.
Right.
Yeah.
But it also shows that if he didn't have the support and guidance of the Avengers, he could have became evil.
Right. Now let's look at this theory, right?
Okay.
The whole theory about how Doctor Strange saw 14 million outcomes and only one outcome they won.
Yeah.
Right. And that one outcome had Tony Stark dying because possibly Doctor Strange knew that if Tony Stark had access to the time travel and the knowledge, he couldn't help himself but try to affect time, go back in time and fix things, right? And in turn, he would mess things up again, becoming more powerful with time travel, right? Who knows? Maybe with that power, he could have shifted more villainesque, right? More of the Victor Von Doom within him.
And think about this. Okay, now we're going like crazy, okay?
Okay.
So think about this. If Tony, if there was a different outcome that Doctor Strange saw that played out, say like Steve snaps, okay? He's the one that snaps everyone away, Thanos away. Tony would not be able to live with himself knowing that Cap did that. So Tony would use time travel to go try to fix that and then just mess everything up.
Right.
So it's like playing off the theory you just said, but it's like if Tony was alive, he would ruin the multiverse on his own just by figuring out time travel.
Right, because he couldn't help himself. And you know another crazy thing about Avengers Endgame?
Okay.
So when Ant-Man comes up to Tony's house, right? After he comes back and says, hey guys, I think I found a way to get everybody back. And Tony kind of shrugs it off, right? But then he comes up with the Mobius strip.
Right.
I really believe that from Infinity War to Endgame, Tony was already trying to figure out time travel.
Oh.
Because it's almost like he's been working on it, and the missing piece was the Mobius strip.
Right.
Right? Don't you think?
When you really think about it, when he tells Pepper, he goes, I figured it out. It's almost like it's been this overarching mission that he's been trying to do, right? For the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And in that 5-year time gap, he just hasn't been able to figure out. And then once they had Morgan, he kind of like would do it every now and then. But once the Avengers came back, that's when he starts doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good theory.
Yeah, because it sure seems like the way he's acting is
Yeah.
as if it's been a project he's been working on. Maybe not since Infinity War.
Yeah.
But I think it's been a project that he's been working on since he got back when he was sick with Nebula.
Right.
And 5 years passed or whatever.
Yeah, because what's really interesting about that, it almost seems like he gave up on trying to figure it out because he was trying, but then he was like telling him it's like it's not possible.
Right.
But then once he sticks his foot in it more, he finally figures it out.
Yeah.
And that's why he tells Pepper, I figured it out. And she automatically knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and you know what? This thought just came into my head. Why do you think Tony had dreams? Why do you think he had a dream? Like, I had a dream that we had a kid and we named him after your Uncle Morgan.
Yeah.
Like, what was that whole point of having those moments?
Okay, well, we all know in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah.
when someone dreams, it's what's happening in another universe,
Uh-huh.
right? Doctor Strange is having dreams, but it's literally him. It was Defender Strange,
Yeah.
right? So maybe that's another variant, maybe,
Of Tony.
of Tony, possibly in another timeline within the 616. But yeah, that was,
But what was the point of that?
yeah.
Do you think that was just to tee it up that he was going to have a kid?
I think that was to tee it up that they were going to have Morgan.
I know recently Mark Ruffalo was asked if he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Uh-huh.
And he's claiming that he's like, oh, I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And then they said, he's like, that would be incredible, though, if I was.
Yeah, he's
Incredible
in it.
Hulk.
He's in it.
You know what's so funny? Remember when Mark Ruffalo literally spoiled
That was-
Avengers Infinity War?
That was terrible.
I mean, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm sure you're a Marvel fan, you've seen this, but like, he literally says in
Wait
an
till you
interview,
see this next
wait
one.
till you see this next movie.
Everybody
Almost
dies.
half of everyone dies.
No, he says almost everyone.
Everyone, and then he goes half. He was about to say half, which happens, right? Half of them die,
Yeah.
and then he decides to say almost everyone.
Oh my gosh. That was probably one of the craziest things to say.
And I want to really think about this, right? Is he just that smart to know, like, if I say this, it kind of gets things going marketing wise, or do you think he just genuinely just doesn't care? And he
I
thinks
think he
it's
just
funny?
genuinely did not know where he was. It just slipped out. Because I think he just got excited and just let it slip out. I mean, that was like the big ending.
Yeah.
That was the big ending. That Thanos wins, he snaps away half the population.
And then we look at Thor Ragnarok, right? He literally like live streamed the first 10 minutes of the movie
Yeah.
on Instagram Live or Facebook Live.
Yeah, I'm really okay. Yeah, see now it's starting to like be like, okay, is he doing it on purpose?
What do you think?
I have to assume that he's not, but I do think I know. You know what? I think there is a little bit of on purpose. There's a little bit of it more.
It's
of an
almost
intent.
like he did it one time on mistake,
Yeah.
and he saw how much press it generated.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I kind of like that attention. I kind of like to
Yeah.
do this. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. And it was for sure that for the Infinity War one, Don Cheadle definitely wasn't in on it. You could tell he was like, dude, what are you doing?
And then he tries to play it off like it's a joke, right? Like,
Yeah.
dude, no, just
Just move on.
move on.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was like one of the probably one of the craziest moments in pop culture history where someone like spoiled something like that.
Yeah. So on the nose too. Like, so
Yeah.
is exactly what happened.
No good.
I really wonder how things will be with Avengers Doomsday. Like, if there's gonna be like some crazy slip ups.
Well, I mean, Alan Cummings kind of already slipped up by him saying like he was fighting Pedro.
You know who's not gonna slip up? I'm not gonna slip up.
I'm not gonna slip up.
I just think it's so funny how like Mark Ruffalo, like how he could just say stuff like that, you know?
And it's just like, oh well.
Oh well, can't fire him.
Yeah, but it's also like what's said is said. What are you gonna do?
But what's so funny about that whole situation, right? The interview was done at like D23 or like a Disney event.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Disney, you could have like, shut that down possibly.
Right. Oh, that is true.
You know?
Okay, say someone like released a crazy spoiler.
Yeah.
They really can't fire them
'Cause
then
they're
they're
in the
like,
movie.
it's they
true.
fired them. Yeah, it's true.
Right. You kind of just have to shrug it off like it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this week's podcast. If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also comment what you guys want us to talk about next week. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on TikTok, and we'll see you guys next week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
We'll see you on TikTok.
God bless you guys. See ya.
Love ya.